friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Danny and today I'm going to go through my series wrap up with you guys. So I'm just checking in on my series goal for the year, seeing if I accomplished what I wanted to, and then talking to you guys about some of my favorites. So first and foremost, let's talk through my goals for the year of 2025. If you have not been with me since the beginning of the year, I did set two goals for series. The first was to continue with more series than I start. I think I would have been okay had the numbers been equal, but I think that was my intent, was that I wanted to continue with more series than I started. And that didn't necessarily have to be in the same series or in different series. It could just be, so if I continued books 2 and 3, that counted as 2 continuations. The numbers for this are that I started 16 series in the year of 2025. This does not include series that I would have read book 1 and decided not to move forward. So it's only series that I read and am intrigued enough to continue on. And I continued 26. And that's 26 different series. That's 33 total books. So I blew that goal out of the water, which is fantastic. I'm really glad that I was able to make series a goal this year and kind of my focus. And then my second goal for the year is to finish 10 series in total. I'm filming this on December 13th, so I do still have some wiggle room to complete some series, but currently I have completed 11. I originally said that I had completed 12, but I know for a fact at this point that one of the series that I said I had completed has a book coming out next year. And I didn't realize it. I'll talk about that at the end of the video as far as like the books that I'm excited that have new releases coming out. But so I took that one off the list. So let me just really quickly go through the series that I have completed this year. I did talk to you guys about most of them in detail on my quarter check-ins. So if you're really interested in a specific series, you might check out those quarter check-ins if you want great detail in the first 7 series. So Fireborn Blade, Emily Wilde's, Murderbot. Murderbot's the one that has a book coming out next year, so I'm going to take that one off the list. Cemeteries of Amalo, the Black Tongue Thief, Divine Cities, Chaotic Orbits, and those are the ones that I talked to you guys about. I also added to this, so they kind of take the place of Murderbot. Legends and Lattes is one that I recently have finished. I completed Brigands and Bread Knives. That's another one that I'm I don't know if that's the end of a series, but I haven't heard anything about another book coming out, so correct me if I'm wrong on that. And then I also put the Daggett Dreammaking duology that I have over here on my shelves, the Dreammaking District and then the Dream Department Store. I think that that's a completed series that author could come back to, but I don't know of anything in the works, so I'm going to consider that a completed series. The 3 that I hadn't talked to you guys about was the Library series by Mark Lawrence, which starts with The Book That Wouldn't Burn. And the last book in the series is called The Book That Held Her Heart. I ended up rating it a 4.75. So my favorite in the series is definitely the first book. I think that this was masterfully done, but really the whole series just gives me good vibes. I love the storyline, the characters. I love the wrap up at the end of the last book and like the titles for each of them. I love everything about this series. If you haven't heard of the Library series, in the first book, well, in all of the books, but you start in the first book with 2 characters who come from different sides of the tracks, if you want to say that. One of them has lived his entire life in a library and is trying to get away and to get out of the library, but his family has lived there for generations and they don't really know how to get out of the library. And then you have a young girl who lives out in the dust, which is kind of away from civilization. And you follow their stories as they kind of get woven together. In this series, you have a massive library that is ancient and has a whole bunch of mysteries and guardians and rules within it that are just lovely to kind of unpack throughout the series. I had a lot of fun with this, so I was happy to cross that one off my list. I'm a little sad that the story is over for me, but Mark Lawrence has another book coming out this year, so I'll be able to start another series with him. And then next, I did finish the Winnowing Flame series, which I told you guys about. I've been buddy reading these with Kirsten over at Reading Nymph, and we finally got through Poison Song. I don't think that it's my favorite ending to a series, but I still really enjoy what she did with this. I loved the characters, and the ending of the last book is absolutely devastating. So just be forewarned. In this, you are following three main characters. You have a Fell Witch, an elf of sorts, a vampire elf. They're called Iborans, and they have a very sordid past with humans. And then one of the other characters is a human scientist who is, she's not really a scientist, but she does study the events that are happening on their world. And you start seeing the things happening within the world are implying that something really bad is going to happen, and it's kind of history repeating itself. However, a lot of the histories and the defenses that the societies have had are in the hands of the Iborans, which are a race that is slowly dying out, and so that creates its own problems. I really liked the creativity within this series. I do think it has a little bit of middle book syndrome with the Bitter Twins, and I think that kind of harmed how much detail we could have gone into in the third book, because I just feel like there were some things that I just didn't get enough of, but I did really enjoy the series. And then the last book, the last series that I finished for my list of 10 was the Fallen God series. I just finished Faithbreaker today, actually, on my walk, and I sobbed at the ending of this, even though I was really disappointed with the story overall. How the book ended, I do think it ends in a wow. I don't know, I should call it a wow. It has a very meaningful ending, which I did appreciate, and so I'm happy to have this one under my belt, but I am glad that I didn't purchase the series for my shelves. Godkiller and Sunbringer. Well, actually, Godkiller I really enjoyed. I think I rated it a 4.5 star. Sunbringer I rated, I think it was maybe a flat 4. I can't remember. And then Faithbreaker I ended up rating a 3.75. So they've gone down for me, mainly because there are some characters that are in the second 2 books that are focused on that I really didn't like. And then in the third book, I really don't like some of the decisions that our characters make. So, but those are my list of finished series for the year. So I am very excited to say that I completed this goal as well. To give you some numbers other than the ones that I've already given you, I will be entering 2026 with 39 series. So 39 ongoing series that I am in the middle of, and that is including series that I do have books that I could read currently. They have published works out right now, and series that I am currently waiting on publication to read them. So that's everything that I am in the middle of. I think that's a really funny number because that's the same number that I entered 2025 with. So I kind of love that. I love the fact that I have started 16 new series, but I have read enough that I'm leaving 2026, unless I guess I could start another series between now and the end of the year, but I'm leaving this year with the same number of series that I went in. Now you might be thinking, wait, those numbers don't add up, because I came into 2025 with 39 series. I started 16 series and I have finished 11 series. Well, I have DNF'd 5 in total. I did talk to you guys about 4 of my DNFs, and then I DNF'd 1 series earlier in the year. So that's where all of those numbers kind of balance out to give me a 39 again to enter into 2026. So we'll have to see how 2026 treats my series goals and if I can make more progress this year or this next year. Really briefly, I do want to talk about a few series that I am excited to say that there will be an expected release in 2026. And I'm sure that I'm missing some because sometimes release dates don't come out until closer to the date, but I do know 3 for sure that currently it says that they are expected in 2026. So one of those is for the Murderbot Diaries. I am really excited to continue this series because I really did think that it was complete. I finished system collapse earlier this year and really enjoyed the ending. And I did not realize that Platform Decay, which is another book in the Murderbot series, is coming out. So I get to spend more time with Murderbot, which is really exciting. So I think that one comes out in June, if I remember, maybe May. But yeah, it's kind of mid 2026. We also have the sequel to The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi coming out, and I am so freaking excited. I love this book and I don't talk about it enough. I am looking forward to rereading this prior to the sequel coming out. It also comes out in mid-year. It's either May or June. I know I mixed up those two titles. So I can't wait to see what else Amina has in store for us. I don't know if it's going to be a prequel to this or if it's going to be Amina continuing her adventure. I'll have to read it and find out. The last of the new releases that I wanted to shout out was the third book for the Shadow of the Leviathan series, which is the Din and Anna mystery series. It is a Sherlock Holmes-esque fantasy mystery, and I just have absolutely loved it. So I can't wait to continue with Din and Anna on another adventure in this really crazy world. I don't know what Robert Jackson Bennett is going to have next up his sleeve, but I'm looking forward to following the mystery with our dynamic duo. And before we get to the grand finale of this video, which are my series favorites for the year, I do want to just briefly mention a couple of disappointments. I'm not going to harp on these too much because I have already talked to you guys about most of them. I have 3 books that I just want to mention that were disappointments as far as series go this year. And the first one is Faithbreaker, which I did mention. I just really did not enjoy some of the decisions that were made with characters in this last story. There were 2 main characters that I just think kind of made dumb decisions throughout the entire book. And it was kind of maddening. And I know some of it was supposed to be that way, that we as the reader were supposed to be frustrated with our main characters for doing certain things. But it was just a little too much for me. I really just wanted to lean into enjoying the characters and being with them through these really harrowing situations, and I found that certain things kind of got in the way of that. So that one, unfortunately, was a disappointment for me. Next, we have Brigands and Bread Knives, which is the 3rd book in the Legends and Latte series, and this one was a disappointment for me. I think that my main disappointment is I had expectations that I was going to be able to kind of be with the characters that I had grown to love in this 3rd book, and that's not really what happens. Can't tell you too much without spoiling things, but I'll just say that the main character in the story, while I do really like her, I followed her in a path that I don't know that I really needed to see to get what I wanted out of the series and to follow the characters that I wanted to know how their life was going and, you know, how things had progressed since Legends and Lattes. So I don't know. I might try rereading this one at some point because when I was reading it, I was definitely in a funk, but it's a little bit disappointing for me. And the last one, speaking of being in a funk, the last disappointment I have for you guys is the Black Powder War by Naomi Novik. It is the 3rd book in the Tamarair series, and I talked about it on my previous video about how I DNF'd this book. I haven't decided to DNF the series yet, but it is a possibility. I need to give it a little bit of time and then pick this book up again and see if I can get through it, because if I can't, the series is definitely going to be a DNF because I'm not going to skip a book in a series and go to the next one. That's just not how my brain works. And so we'll see. That one focused a lot on war and not on the conversations and relationship between Tamarair and the captain. And so that's why I was disappointed with that one. But I was definitely in a funk while I was reading it. So it could be me, and I need to give it another chance in the new year to see if it can revive my love of the series. Now on to my favorites and the ones that I loved. I figured I would give you guys 3 favorites today. One will be the favorite start that I have had in a series this year, and the second will be my favorite ending that I've had. So of the series that I've completed, which one do I think had the best ending? And then my 3rd favorite will be my favorite series of the entire year, which was a hard decision. I will tell you that, because I've had some really great series reads this year. We'll begin with my favorite start to a series this year, and that will be The Fireborn Blade. This is a cute little novella duology, and I did read both of them, so this is also in my completed series list. But I had such a fun time with this first book. I think it's such a refreshing story, especially because it is very small. I can't really tell you much about it. You have a lady knight in this, and she is on a hunt to get the Fireborn Blade, which is in the possession of a dragon, and you get to learn about the logistics of living in a world with dragons, how the people who have sought out this sword in the past have not succeeded, and I just found the whole thing was so fun, and it literally had certain elements that were so surprising and I really enjoyed it. So this is definitely my favorite start to a series in 2025. The favorite ending that I had for a series, I actually have to put two of them on this list because I just love both of these. So the first one I'll mention is the Divine Cities series by Robert Jackson Bennett. I love this mystery, or this fantasy mystery series. I definitely think that it's underhyped. I don't hear a ton of people talking about it. It's an older series, and it is featuring a city of gods, the city of Bulakov, which used to be a very powerful nation because of the fact that they had all these divinities that helped them have power. Well, since their time of power, their gods have died, or so they think. And one of the, or a whole bunch of the nations around them have come in and conquered them and become the powerful nations themselves. And they have emissaries that come in and help almost control Bulakov and just see the lay of the land and figure out, what's happening within this powerhouse that has fallen. And one of those emissaries dies, and the conquering nations send in other people to investigate the death and see what happened. And you get to learn about the city of gods, or the city of stairs, throughout this first book. Each of the stories follows a different mystery and a different something that has happened. Not all in Bulakov, you follow different nations as well. But the cast of characters in this series, I just dearly love. And the ending of it, I can't tell you much, obviously, because it's a series ending. But man, I dearly loved City of Miracles, which is the last book in the series. So if you like fantasy mysteries, you should definitely give this series a try. And then the next series that I had to shout out the ending was The Cemeteries of Amalo, which starts with The Witness for the Dead. The last book is called The Tomb of Dragons, which I read this year, and I just freaking love Thara Kelleher. And I really enjoy where the last book takes us with his character. He is a witness for the dead, so he can actually speak with the dead, and that has him kind of embroiled in a lot of politics in the city that he's in. He has helped solve murder cases, but he also is a staple in the community and helping people grieve and speaking for people who have passed. And so seeing the culminating events and the ending, and I freaking loved it. So good. I know some of you guys have picked this up this year, and it makes me so happy when I see people reading this series, because prior to me picking it up, I had never heard anybody talk about it. So I'm very happy that it's getting some of the attention that it deserves. Last but not least, we have my favorite completed series of 2025, and that has to go to Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I couldn't give it to anything else. This series just has my heart. And I own 2 sets of Emily Wilde's. I own my original copies, and then the nice special editions that are just beautiful and illustrated as well. And I couldn't be happier with the fact that I have 2 of these on my shelves. If you haven't heard of Emily Wilde's, you're following Emily, who is studying Fae, and she is creating an encyclopedia in this first book to try and give people awareness of how dangerous Fae can be, and how to get out of circumstances if you do happen to interact with a Fae, maybe not meaning to stumble across them. And she herself goes in search of a group of Fae that are not well known, and studies them in this really chilly climate, thinking that she's going to be by herself doing her work on her own because she very much enjoys her work and does not really enjoy people. But her colleague, Wendell, who's very charismatic, a people person, everyone loves him, he's the life of the party, decides to come along with her, and they have to figure out how to study this group of fae together. And I love all of the characters in this. I have no complaints, no notes. It's a lovely series, and if you haven't read it and if it sounds intriguing to you, I would shout this one from the rooftops that you should pick this up now because you won't be disappointed. Overall, I would say that I am really happy with how many series that I've read this year, the progress that I've made, and I'm looking forward to seeing how 2026 I can tackle some of the same goals and maybe with a little bit of fine tuning to see if I can, be even better next year with my reading of series. But I hope that I get just as many fantastic reads as I did this year because I am surrounded by so many of my favorites on the floor right now. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I won't be stopping reading series anytime soon, which I know that you guys didn't expect it. If you have finished any series recently, I would love to know which one was your favorite, which one do you think that everyone should just be shouting from the rooftops and reading right away. I would love to chat with you guys in the comments. If you are not feeling chatty, but you still want to let me know that you're here, leave me a little mushroom emoji for Emily Wilds so I know that you guys are with me. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a lovely evening, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!